sequential. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. Such a lucky day for me today. I'm in front of four colleagues: Professor Jagatram, my teacher; Dr. Mangatram Dogra, my teacher; Dr. Meenakshi, my MBBS colleague; and Dr. Meenakshi, my MS colleague. Residency training is a very important phase of metamorphosis in the life cycle of a doctor, where he transforms from theoretical generalist to a practically oriented specialist. Ideally, the training program should be designed in such a way that it should facilitate the acquisition of knowledge, understanding, skills, and attitudes to a level appropriate for an ophthalmic specialist who will become, so that he becomes fully prepared to start a career as an independent ophthalmic consultant. This training consists of formal training, supervised medical patient care, hand-on procedural and surgical experience, and an inclination towards research, independent study, and lifelong learning. Essentially, these training programs should provide an ideal learning and working environment which fosters excellence in safety and quality of care and professionalism. The faculty should be trained to teach, train, evaluate, and mentor. There should be optimal exposure to patient and clinical investigations and procedures, and necessary facilities and equipment to provide the standardized care. But reality bites. The final outcome is substantially variable. AOS surveys showed glaring deficiencies in the medical training programs. 42 to 90% poor development of subspecialty and supportive services in 61 medical colleges, including private colleges and autonomous institutes. These deficiencies are such alarming that Professor Grover were to write in his editorial in 2008 that note more than 20% residents are prepared to practice comprehensive ophthalmology after residency training. This is the reality. AOS survey of 2016 shown that cataract surgery, that to extracapsular SICS, chalazion, pterygium, and trauma. Only these were the surgeries which were performed by seniors, residents, either under supervision or independently. This is shame. Majority of residents during their training period at the end of training said that there was inadequacy and perhaps incompleteness in their training so that they could deal with the patients. And in 2 to 10 years after the residency, 51% of the doctors were to take additional training because they found that their clinical and surgical skills were inadequate and they were not confident in handling the complications. So these ill-prepared postgraduates, what do? Kya kare? Either they join the college as a junior doctors or senior residents, join a government job, do a fellowship or subspecialty training from a center, take a job in another country, start an eye center, join a private setup, join a corporate setup, charitable setup, or spectacle shop, what they do with such incomplete clinical skills. Now, what of these models works for that particular resident who has just completed his residency? What model works best depends on his personality and passion. The key is to find out what gives them a happiness the most. So fellowship is a doorway. Fellowship is a training, medical training which physician undergoes after completing his residency training. 1 to 2 years of fellowship or training, where then at the end of it, he is permitted to practice without direct supervision. Can I continue? The fellowship lets them to expand their clinical and surgical skills. They allow you to become consultant without a need of supervision, gives best possible care to the patients. It provides an excellent opportunity in the form of unique personal experience, living in new place, learning new organization, and more importantly, it gives an excellent opportunity to explore the crucial non-clinical areas as well, like practice management skill, business operation finances, personal financial management, exposure to different practice setting models, insurance, medical legal aspects, and political advocacy. When one should do the fellowship, I say as soon as possible. It depends on the following factors. If your passion is in more focused area, go for a fellowship. If you need to practice a subspecialty area, go for a fellowship. If you want to practice in a densely populated competitive market, go for a fellowship. Life milestones, it is only 1 to 2 years of extra schooling. And if you do not do it immediately after residency, probably you may not do it in the future because you have to start your practice, you have to start your family. And once you start down that line, it may be really unrealistic or disruptive to do a fellowship again. And of course, changing your mind. Once you, if you are not opted for a fellowship or you have joined some other thing, then after years into practice, if you are able to realize that you have not been able to reach to your full potential, go for a fellowship again. So I wrap up. Fellowship puts you in an advantageous position. Since ophthalmology consumes a great deal of our lives, choose the path that coincides with your belief, philosophy, personality, and lifestyle. Whatever that path may be, the final outcome should be practicing the science and art of ophthalmology to the best of your ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Dr. Deependra is going to speak